Right. Well, throughout the month of May, we are going to spend a little time visiting some of the Arizona wineries that are putting our state on the map when it comes to the world-class wine that we prepare here. Corey Williams will be introducing us to some winemakers, taking us on a winery tour, and even catching up with a rock star who's creating some exceptional wines from northern Arizona. Take a look.
The year I planted my vineyard, there was a joke on Saturday Night Live. One of the 10 best ways to lose money was to start a vineyard in Arizona.
We just have this idea that where vineyards are grown, it's really, really lush and, there's lots of green. Most places where really good wine is grown are arid, dry, rocky soil, and that's Arizona.
Wine in Arizona. 10, 15 years ago, it may have been the punchline to a bad joke, but now it's serious business. In fact, the state of Arizona currently has close to 50 licensed and bonded wineries. But before we get too much into the present and future of the wine industry in Arizona, let's talk about the history. It may seem like a far-fetched idea or even a novelty, but actually, Arizona was home to wine vines long before California was producing grapes, and for that, we have Spanish missionaries to thank. The missionaries are credited with planting the first vineyards in the western part of the United States, first in Arizona and then decades later in California. But despite our early start, when you think of wines in America, you typically think of California, and more specifically Napa and Sonoma, and for good reason. Our neighbors to the west account for over 90% of U.S. wine production. And while our state won't ever compete when it comes to quantity, we definitely can compete on quality.
That's the biggest misconception, is that this climate is wrong for wine. Australia, southern France, even Bordeaux can be a hotter environment. Spain, they produce more wine than anyone else, and that's a hot, dry place.
You can grow grapes in the desert. That's where they all come from. You know where Shiraz is? It's in Iran. You have to water them, but that's a good thing too, because you can control how much moisture and nutrition they get.
Yes, it's true, grapes love the Southwest, and when compared to other traditional crops grown in our state, wine grapes actually use less water than cotton or alfalfa. And when it comes to humans, a vineyard even has us beat when it comes to H2O.
You can fit anywhere between 6 to 8 houses on an acre of land. And over the course of the year, those houses' average water use, they're going to use 1 to 2 million gallons of water a year on that acre. An acre of vines will use anywhere between 50,000 to 200,000 gallons a year. So it's quite different than the perception.
At this point, Arizona wineries can be found throughout the state, but the majority fall within 3 specific regions: Sonoyta and Wilcox in the southern part of the state, and the Verde Valley to the north. So now that you know a little more about Arizona's wine industry, let's talk about the fruit of the labor, the wine.
Well, one of the biggest was the judgment of Arizona, where they blind tasted. They took a panel of judges and they blind tasted Arizona wine versus wines from around the world. And we placed in all the categories.
The first vineyard that I got involved in, we twice sent the Pinot Gris that we made there to White House State dinners in 02 and 05, and the Pinot Gris that we make now in Cellars from those same vines.
Now that you have a better understanding of where the Arizona wine industry came from, we're going to take the next few weeks to explore some of the wineries that are putting Arizona on the map. We'll swing by Page Springs Cellars and take a tour. Then we'll stop by Pillsbury Wine Tasting Room in Cottonwood and talk to owner, winemaker, and even filmmaker Sam Pillsbury. And then we'll end up here in Jerome, where we'll talk to rock star Maynard James Keenan about his life as a rock star turned into a winemaker. He's growing wines right here in Jerome. Until then, cheers.
And we will have more information on our website, sonoranliving.com.